Hello, this is Spidey1958 and welcome to a one-off video on Pathfinder Kingmaker races. Several people had asked me to do a thing just on the general races since in my class thing I've basically been sticking with human. So I thought I would go ahead quick and do a video here on the basic races and options. So here we'll start with human, which I've been doing. They get a +1 ability score at creation, which means they get to choose one stat that goes up by 2. And that they get the feat, which basically it's called feat. They gain 1 feat at first level, and every 2 levels thereafter humans receive a bonus feat at first level. So basically it just means they get a bonus feat at first level. Skilled. Humans gain an additional skill rank at first level and 1 additional rank whenever they gain a level. So they basically get an extra skill point. Here is the female with face 1, 2, 3, hairstyles. And then you can choose right or left-handed. Then the male figures. Right now there's only one body type. There's the various faces, hairstyles. Ooh, that one looks funky. And then beards. So that's the basic humans. So let's go on to elf. Elves get a +2 to dex, a +2 intelligence, but a -2 to constitution. They have keen senses, which they receive a +2 racial bonus on perception checks. Elven magic, they get a +2 racial bonus on caster level checks made to overcome spell resistance. In addition, they gain a +2 racial bonus on knowledge arcana skill checks made to identify the properties of magic items. And yes, that's the way you identify magic items. Excuse me. The way you identify magic items is that basically you make a arcana skill check. I do not believe there's an identify spell, at least currently in the game. And remember, all this is beta, so this all could change when the game releases here in about a month. Elves are immune to magic sleep effects and gain a +2 racial saving throw bonus against enchantment spells and effects. They also are proficient with longbows, including composite longbows, longswords, rapiers, and short bows, including composite short bows. They treat any weapon with the word elven in its name as a martial weapon. Now this is important that it says martial weapon, which means if you're a wizard, you will not be able to use that exotic elven weapon. And this is the male elf. Again, one body type, one face in this case, with 3 hairstyles. 1, 2, and 3. This is the female elf. She has 2 faces, which aren't very different. I don't think we can zoom in. And then 4 hairstyles. And usually the 4th one is bald. So next we had Dwarf. Boop. Dwarfs get a +2 con, a +2 wisdom, and a -2 charisma. They're slow and steady, which means their base move is 20, but their speed is never modified by armor or encumbrance. So I never tested it, but that may mean that you cannot overload them. They can always at least move no matter how much they're carrying. Dwarves gain a +4 racial bonus to their combat maneuver defense when resisting a bull rush or trip attempt when standing on the ground. So it's hard to trip a dwarf because they're close to the ground and have a steady base. Hardy, they gain a +2 ratio bonus on saving throws against poison spells and spell-like abilities. So they're resistant to magic. Defensive training, they gain a +4 dodge bonus to AC against monsters of the giant subtype. Hatred, orcs and goblinoids. They gain a +1 ratio bonus on attack rolls against humanoid creatures of the orc and goblinoid subtypes because of their special training against these hated foes. I have not seen orcs in the game, but there are lots of goblins. Now, I don't know if this is a mistake, because the description says only elves, gnomes, and half-elves gain this racial bonus, and I don't remember dwarves having a perception bonus. Well, I do, but I thought it was only for stonework or something, so this probably is not correct. Dwarven weapon familiarity. They are basically proficient with battle axe, heavy picks, and warhammers, and treat any weapon with the word dwarven in it as a martial weapon. So the dwarven axe, which is normally an exotic, any dwarf who can use martial weapons can use it, but the dwarf that only gets simple weapons will not be able to use a dwarven axe, which includes like clerics. So they have 2 faces on the female, boom and boom. I actually sort of like the second one better. They have 6 hairstyles. And no, the female dwarfs do not have beards. Now the male dwarf, they're one of the ones where their basic hairstyle is bald. So they have 2 faces, boom and boom. They have 4 hairstyles, no hair, a mohawk, flowing hair, and another mohawk. And they have 5 beards. They actually do have a clean-shaven male dwarf, but as you can see, it's the last one where normally it's the first one. So next is Gnome. Gnomes get a -2 to strength, a +2 to con, and a +2 to charisma. They have keen senses, and since it says in the description they do have keen senses, this is not a mistake in this case. This I didn't realize. Gnomes have a +1 bonus on attack rolls against humanoid creatures of the reptilian and goblinoid subtypes because of their special training against these hated foes. They gain the +4 dodge bonus to AC against monsters of the giant subtype. I know it says only dwarves, but I believe dwarves, gnomes, and halflings all get this ability. Illusion resistance. They gain a +2 racial saving throw bonus against illusion spells and effects. Gnome magic. They add +1 to the DC of any saving throws against illusion spells that they cast. Obsessive. Gnomes gain a +2 racial bonus on the knowledge world checks. Slow movement. They have a base movement of 20 feet, and unlike dwarves, armor and encumbrance does slow them down. Dwarves, I believe, are the only one to get that one where they're not affected by the armor or the encumbrance. So we have 3 faces. Boom. Well, let me turn them around. Oop. Apparently they have very big eyebrows. And they got 7 hairstyles. And if you notice, they have a lot more hair colors, and they're pretty exotic. Well, it doesn't do any good to do a hairstyle. And they do have beards. And now the female gnome has 2 faces and 4 hairstyles, and of course no beards. Okay, halflings. Halflings have a -2 strength, a +2 dexterity, and a +2 charisma. They are fearless. They get a +2 racial bonus on all saving throws against fear. This bonus stacks with the bonus granted by halfling luck. They have slow movement in that they have short legs and they only move 20 feet. They're sure-footed, so they gain a +2 racial bonus on athletics and mobility checks. Keen senses, again, I don't know for sure if this is a bug or if they do actually have keen senses. Halfling luck, +1 racial bonus on all saving throws. This is the basic female halfling. They have 2 faces, Doom and Doom. And this is all beta, remember, so these will probably be a lot more selections in the future. This is just giving you an idea of some of the choices they have now. And then 5 hairstyles. That one looks very like 50s housewife-ish to me. Could just be me. Then you have your basic male halfling. They have 2 faces. They seem to have a neutral face and then a sort of scrawly face. And they have 3 hairstyles currently. And 2 beards. So they have 1 beard basically, which isn't even a full beard. It's just massive sideburns. So, next is half-elf. Half-elves are like humans. They get their +2 in any stat they want, but they only get the 1 +2, but no minus. They get keen senses, and this time, like I said, it says here in the description that half-elves get the +2 on perception, so I'm pretty sure they do. They have elven immunities to sleep and +2 against enchantment spells and effects. They have adaptability, which that means half-elves receive a skill focus as a bonus feat at first level. So they get to choose 1 skill that they're basically +2 in. This is the basic. Again, they have 2 faces in the beta. They have 6 hairstyles. They have 1 beard. And the female, 2 faces, 6 hairstyles, and next we have half-orc. Half-orcs get the +2 in any 1 stat. They get the skilled bonus like humans do, where they get an additional skill rank at first level whenever they get, and at first level and 1 additional rank whenever they gain a level. So very similar to human. They get a +2 racial bonus on intimidation checks due to their fearsome nature. Half-orcs are proficient with great axes and falchions and treat any weapon with the word orc in its name as a martial weapon. They also have orc ferocity. When a half-orc is brought below 0 hit points but not killed, he can fight for 1 more round as if disabled. At the end of this next turn, unless brought to above 0 hit points, he immediately falls unconscious. So let's go ahead. They actually have 2 body types for them, though I don't see any difference between the 2. They have 2 faces. Oop. Six hairstyles. And no beard. For the female, of course. Again, it says 2 body types. Oh, there actually are 2 body types for the male orc. You got big and small. Then you got 3 faces. You have 4 hairstyles. That looks very Conan the Barbarian-ish to me. And then you have 6 beards. One of which is no beard, of course. So I assume that's just sideburns. That's a rakish looking half-orc. Okay, and now the most complicated. The Azemar. They get a second race choice, which we'll show you in a second. It's their heritage. They all get light halo. They possess the ability to manifest halos. They create a light centered on their head at will. When using a halo, they gain a +2 circumstance bonus on saving throws against becoming blinded or dazzled. They also get celestial resistance, which gives them acid resistance 5, cold resistance 5, electricity resistance 5, but apparently fire still hurts them. So they really at this point don't seem to have very different looks. They basically look like mostly human. And we got the female, 3 faces, 10 hairstyles, and of course no beard. So let's go ahead and go next here. And we have to pick a random class. We'll just pick fighter. We don't care because we want to get to here. Most Azemirs do not know exactly where their celestial powers come from, and similar quantities of many such celestial touched being hints at relative, indistinct, or all-encompassing heavenly forces in their lineage. Azemirs of uncertain heritage have a +2 racial bonus to wisdom and charisma, and a +2 racial bonus on diplomacy and perception spells, and can use Searing Light spell once per day. Then you have the Angel Blooded. They have a +2 racial bonus on strength and charisma, and a +2 racial bonus on lore, religion, and use magic, and can use Luster Restoration once per day, which is actually quite useful. Emberkin. Peri-blooded Azemirs have +2 racial bonus on intelligence and charisma, a +2 racial bonus on religion and knowledge, and can use Burning Arc spell once per day. The Idalican Agathoin-blooded Azemirs have +2 racial bonus on Constitution Charisma, +2 racial bonus on Nature and Perception, and can use Summon Nature Allies 3 once per day. Lawbringers. Archon-blooded Azemirs have +2 racial bonus to Constitution and Wisdom, a +2 racial bonus on Persuasion and Perception, and can use Hold Person once per day. Muse-touched. Azada-blooded Azemirs have +2 racial bonus to Dexterity and Charisma, a +2 racial bonus on Persuasion and Mobility checks, and can use Glitter Dust once per day. Plumekith. Garuda-blooded Azemirs have +2 racial bonus to Dexterity and Wisdom, a +2 racial bonus on Mobility and Athletics, and can use Invisibility spell once per day. And that covers basically all the basic races. So hopefully you find this video useful and you're planning for when the game comes out. As always, if you enjoyed this video, go ahead and leave me a like or a comment. And if you disliked the video, leaving me a dislike's fine, but please leave a comment saying what you actually disliked about the video. Thank you, and have fun gaming.